You guys always ask me if I cry when I look up some of these cases. For this one, I did. I do cry sometimes. It's mostly when I hear about their families and the things that they have said after the victims have passed. This takes place in Ireland. The boys that committed this crime remain unnamed to the public to this day because they were only 13 years old at the time of the crime. They were the youngest people in the history of Ireland to be charged with murder. This is the story of Anna. I think you pronounce her name Kriegel. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's Anna Kriegel. Anna was born in Russia. Shortly after birth, she was put in an orphanage. When she was around 2 years old, she was adopted by her parents, her mother Geraldine and her father Patrick, who absolutely fell in love with her the moment that they saw her, and shortly after they moved to Ireland. The lighting is going to be weird because the sun is going in and out because I live in the Midwest. It's just how it goes. Her adoptive parents were such loving and caring people, and Anna was a happy little girl. She was full of energy, but she did experience some serious health issues when she was young. She was also picked on in school. Kids were mean to her, which gave her self-confidence issues, and the bullying continued the older and older that she got. It was awful. She's been described as such a kind, sweet girl, but no one wanted to be her friend. Everyone at school was just so mean to her, and it gave her serious social anxiety issues. She grew up to not have the best social skills because of that, and her teachers noticed, and it was a very unfortunate situation. In her teenage years, she suffered with depression, and her parents noticed, and they tried to do everything they could to get her help, but her mental health just weighed so heavy on her. On Monday, May 14th of 2018, Anna was 14 years old at the time. She went to school, she went to a counseling session, she came home, made herself a snack, and she was home with her father. Around 5 p.m., a boy knocks on their front door, a boy that we're going to refer to as Boy B. Her father answered the door. The boy asked to talk to Anna, and the first reaction, the father was confused because Anna didn't have many friends. No one ever asked for Anna, and Anna came to the door, and she was confused as well because she knew the kid. They went to school together, but they weren't really friends. But she talks to him for a few minutes. She comes back inside. She tells her father that she's going to go hang out with Boy B for a little bit and that she would be right back. The dad says, okay, cool, be safe, see you later. Anna walks out the door with the boy, and they start walking in the direction of a park. Shortly after, her mom gets off work. She calls Anna, but Anna doesn't answer, and she gets home around 15 to 20 minutes later. Her husband tells her that Anna went to the park with a friend. And immediately her mom gets a bad feeling in her gut because she knows her daughter, and the sad reality of it is that she didn't have any friends. No one ever came to the door to ask for Anna. She would never go to the park with a friend, let alone a boy. She had no idea who she could possibly be with. At 5:20 p.m., her mother texts Anna and says, get home now, but Anna doesn't respond, and then she texts her again saying, answer me now or I'm going to call the police, but Anna did not answer. Patrick, the father, had seen the boy. He knew what the boy looked like, and he knew his first name because the boy introduced himself with it. And he tells his wife that he saw them walking towards the direction of the park. So Geraldine immediately gets in her car. She starts driving around the park, driving around the neighborhood to see if she can see Anna. But she's nowhere to be found. Geraldine gets back home, and she decides with Patrick's help that they're going to try and see if they can find the boy on Facebook. Because Patrick knew Boy B's name, they were able to find him on Facebook pretty quickly. They had his full name, but that wasn't beneficial yet. Now it's 9 p.m. It's dark. Anna still has not returned. Her parents are worried sick. They go to the police station to report her missing, which luckily authorities did take very seriously from the beginning. The parents gave the officers Boy B's full name, and the officers went to his home address to talk to him and his parents. Boy B's story is that he did go to the park with Anna, but he was not there long. He left shortly after because he had to go back home to do some homework. And that was it. Apart from that, Boy B, who is 13 years old, by the way, he had no information. He said that he had no clue where Anna could be or who she could be with. That wasn't very helpful, obviously, but by the next morning, the searches had began. They were searching everywhere for Anna, trying to interview people to see if anyone knew anything, and officers go back and talk to Boy B for the second time, and this time Boy B brings up his friend Boy A, another 13-year-old boy. Boy B tells officers that Anna had a big crush on Boy A, but that Boy A did not have the same feelings back for Anna. He didn't feel the same way, and that was the whole purpose for all of them meeting up at the park that day, because the plan was that Boy A was going to tell Anna that he didn't feel that way towards her and friend zone her, basically. But again, Boy B says that they all met up. He went back home because he had to do his homework, and he left Anna and Boy A at the park alone. Police go and talk to Boy A, who says that yes, they were at the park. They were there because he wanted to friend zone Anna, and she didn't take it well, so he left her at the park alone. He didn't know much more. At this point, the two boys were only people of interest because they had been the last two people to have been seen with Anna, but they were not suspects yet. That was until officers took both boys together to the park because they wanted them to show them exactly where the park they were at. And while Boy A and Boy B were together with the officers, they exchanged a look between each other when they thought that no one was looking. But an officer did see the look they gave each other, and he thought that was weird. There's something suspicious. There's something that they're not telling us. Immediately after that, officers would now look at these boys as suspects. Both boys 13 years old, by the way, children. They were taken to the station for further questioning. Boy A and Boy B were being questioned separately. They said odd things, but nothing major. Now it is Thursday, May 17th, 2018. Anna went missing that Monday. Searches had continued throughout this entire time, but that Thursday they were searching an abandoned farmhouse. This house that they called the Glenwood home was familiar to police because it had been abandoned for years, and young teenagers would go in there all the time to do whatever they wanted to do, really, because they didn't have parental supervision in that house. It was very commonplace for kids to go and hang out at because they could pretty much do whatever they wanted to. Well, in the Glenwood house, upstairs in one of the bedrooms, officers found the deceased body of 14-year-old Anna Kriegel. The bedroom was a horrific sight. Anna's clothing were found scattered all throughout the room, and her body was found with only socks on. And it was later confirmed that Anna had been SA'd not only by a person, but also by objects, which pains me to say. She had blue taper on her neck, and her cause of death was determined to be blunt force trauma. The murder weapons that were used for that blunt force trauma were also found, and it was a long wooden stick with nails at the end of it, as well as a concrete block. Her body was severely damaged by these objects. There was dried blood all over her hair, all over the floor of the room, really. And Anna was covered in self-defense wounds. Her autopsy later revealed that she had over 50 separate injuries. The autopsy also showed that Anna had been killed not even 45 minutes after she left her house with Boy B. Almost every single bone in her face was broken, and it's heartbreaking to think about her last moments were probably spent in complete and utter terror and fear. And it is also unbelievable, cruel, and awful to think that the people that were responsible for doing this to this 14-year-old girl were two boys that were 13 years old themselves, two children themselves. So because the kids were children, police actually had to call their parents first and notify them before they could go and arrest the kids. And when they finally did arrest them and they were getting ready to question them properly, they still had to follow certain protocols or rules. Because of their age, their parents had to come with them and be with them at all times in the room at any point that they were talking to officers or authorities. The boys also could not be held in a cell because they were only 13. So throughout the days that they were being questioned, they set up little beds in an office in the police station so that they could be kept there instead of a cell. The boys were taken to two separate police stations, and they took their DNA to confirm that it had been at the crime scene. They sent all of that evidence to the lab. Meanwhile, awaiting the results, Boy A is staying silent. He's holding on to his mommy's hand. He's sticking to his story that he did meet up with them at the park. He saw Anna, he friend-zoned her, he let her down, talked to her for about 5 minutes, and left. Other than that, Boy A said he didn't know a thing. Boy B, on the other hand, he was the one to turn on his friend. He told officers that he had lied. This was a really slow process. It took a few days for him to open up, but one day he just said to officers, "I have lied to you." And he started to tell them little pieces of the truth. Boy B tells officers that they never went to the park at all. That was an entire lie. In reality, straight from Anna's house, they walked directly to the Glenwood house, the abandoned house where Boy A was waiting for them at. Boy B said that as soon as they got there, Boy A attacked Anna. He threw himself on top of her, harming her in all different kind of ways. And Boy B says that throughout the attack, he was just standing in the doorway, just watching the attack. He said that Anna was screaming and crying, and that he got so scared that he just left. He ran out of the Glenwood house and left Anna and Boy A there. Boy B claimed that he didn't know what Boy A's intentions were. However, he also told officers that a month prior, his friend Boy A had approached him and he had said, "I have an idea. How about we kill someone?" And Boy B apparently thought that he was joking, but he said, "Who would we even kill?" To which Boy A said, "Anna Kriegel." And still, Boy B says that he thought that he was joking, and he claims that he just disregarded it because he didn't think that his friend was being serious, which, if a friend ever tells you that, I think we have all learned by now that you should probably take it seriously and probably tell an adult about that, especially if it's children. Fast forward a month later, here we are. Boy B picks up Anna from her house, takes her to that abandoned house where his friend is waiting for them, his friend that had previously told him that he wanted to kill Anna, and still Boy B claims that he didn't know what Boy's A intentions were. I mean, be so for real. That kid knew. As the investigation and the questioning continues, some of the DNA test results come back, and from the way that the blood was splattered on Boy's A's shoes, investigators were able to tell that Boy A was the one that was inflicting all of the injuries on Anna. They also searched the bedrooms of the houses of both boys, and the evidence that they found there was telling. In boy A's bedroom, they found a backpack that had a Halloween mask, knee pads, gloves, amongst other things. That backpack is commonly referred to as the murder kit backpack. In boy A's search history as well, they found that he had an obsession with gruesome, brutal crime. Again, we're talking about a 13-year-old kid. They also found deleted search histories of boy A searching for abandoned houses in their area, particularly searching that Glenwood house. In boy B's house, I don't think they found much. Soon, all of the testing from all the evidence and all the DNA test results come back, proving everything. Everything in the crime scene, as well as everything found in that backpack, the murder kit backpack, was confirmed to have Anna Kriegel's blood on it. So with that, boy A and boy B were charged with the murder of Anna Kriegel. In court, the 13-year-old boys, were holding on to their mommy's hands when they pled not guilty. Now, there was a lot of physical evidence, blood evidence, DNA evidence against boy A. We also find out in court that boy A confessed everything to his psychiatrist about all the things he did to Anna. However, against boy B, they didn't really have any physical evidence to say that he was there when Anna was murdered. I mean, he had told officers that he was there. We know, obviously, that he went to Anna's house to go pick her up and walked her to the abandoned house, but everything we know about boy B came from him. After 7 weeks of trial, boy B's lawyer reminded the jury that witnessing a murder and committing a murder were not the same thing, and he asked the jury to take that into consideration when discussing the verdicts. On June 18th of 2019, the jury found both boy A and boy B guilty of murder. Boy A was also charged with the SA of with the essay of Anna Kriegel. The jury's reasoning for also finding boy B guilty of murder is that without the part that he played in the situation, I mean, he literally picked up Anna from her house and walked her over to the abandoned house. If he would have not done that, this would have never happened, which I agree with. Both A was sentenced to life in prison with a review period after 12 years. Additionally, he was sentenced to another 12 years for the SA. Boy B was sentenced to 15 years with a minimum of 8 years. Their identities have always been and will remain protected. On May 31st of 2018, Anna Kriegel's funeral took place in Dublin. Her father has said that Anna was their strength. Her mother has said, quote, "Anna was a dream come true for us and she always will be. She will stay in our hearts forever loved and forever cherished," end quote. I don't know, really tough. Thank you for listening to Anna's story. Thank you for spending time with me today. I love you guys so, so much. I hope you're having the best day. If not, go do something to make it the best day. Let me know what you think of this case and I will see you in my next video. Massive kiss on the forehead to every single one of you.